like Bowen.
All right, so here's that one I was talking about. Author and comedian Abbi Jacobson, known for her work on Broad City. That's the name of the cool show. We got a chance to talk with her about her new book called Carrie. This book, taking a look at what she thinks celebrities and historical figures would carry around with them on a typical day and how it illustrates their personality. Abbi Jacobson. I'm not cool. I am a mother of young kids, and I spend my time watching kid shows. So when I was like, all right, what Broad City?
That makes you very cool.
Well, thank you. I do try. And so I just spent, like, don't tell my boss, like the past half an hour totally watching your shows on my work computer. And then we walked in the studio, and someone was like, oh my gosh, this is the girl from Broad City. Oh my goodness. So if you're watching this interview and you're uncool like I am, totally watch it because it is so much fun. And then you've expanded to, this is book number 2 or 3 for you.
I did 2 coloring books a couple years ago. This is the first sort of more substantial illustrated book. So technically 3rd, but this one feels a little bit different.
Okay. I feel like it's sort of like a takeoff on, you know, like when you look at those gossip magazines, like, oh, what's in so-and-so's purse? Is that sort of like where this came from a little bit?
You know, it's not. Maybe I should check those out. I don't really read those, but as I was in the marketing meeting about the book, they were like, you know, this thing, what they bring, or I don't know what it's called, but there's like an article that I now know a lot about. But yeah, I think it just is, it's stemming from the fascination of like, well, what we carry does say so much about us. We want to know what these people carry around.
So you are imagining what some folks would be carrying with them if you could peer into their carry-ons and bags,
exactly.
etc. Okay.
Yeah, so every page is a famous person or a really well-known fictional character and what I imagine might be in their bag. And so I did a lot of research, mostly on the real people. And they're famous in all sorts of ways, historical, political, musicians, actors, like all over the place. And I did research, so there are real facts about these people. So I think you might learn a little bit, but then I also let my imagination run wild and I got to draw things, just like dumb products I think they might use, while also getting to comment on something I either love or hate about the person. Or, you know, I got to poke fun at people. So every page has like a sort of a different array of belongings.
All right, so you said you researched some folks. What are a few things that made you go, wait, what about like someone famous we might know?
I mean, yeah, so someone like Albert Einstein, this is something I write about a little bit in the introduction. So through the research, I found out that he hated wearing socks. Like he just hated it.
Okay.
So on his page, there's a pair of socks. I drew a pair of socks and I comment on it just in case anyone gives a And so if you're reading the book, you might not understand why I put the socks, but that's based on like this weird, interesting fact I found about him, and then I put my own little spin on it. So there's all this stuff, like also Lucille Ball, like kind of basically hoarded or collected pencils because when she was growing up, they couldn't afford pencils. So as she grew up and became successful, she sort of started to hoard them because it was something growing up that she could never have.
There you go.
And I thought that was so interesting. 2
things I didn't know before we started this interview. So this begs the question.
The more you know.
Da, 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 da. What do you carry?
What do I carry? At this point, I should have more exciting answers to this question. I feel like what I carry right now is pretty utilitarian. I have a book. I have my friend Phoebe Robinson's new book of essays out, which is great. I always have a notebook with me. And if I forget it, I usually have to go buy one, like a little moleskin. I always have a pen. As you can see from my illustrations, I'm very into pens. I usually have a lipstick, like a lip gloss, a hair thing. I usually have some Advil, Purell. Yeah, it's all very like essentials. Metro card. Pretty boring, but also when you add it all up, you do know me a little bit more.
Yeah, you get a sense. So you picture this as like a coffee table conversation starter kind of a thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would look really good on a coffee table. But it's the kind of book like you can open up to any page and read a page and put it down if you're like just trying to have like a second break. because you don't need to read it all at once. But I write in the book that my ultimate goal is to sort of, if you're reading this book, I hope it provides a sort of break from the craziness of the world right now, because there's a lot of terrible things happening, and I do feel like it is a nice little break for your eyes and mind, because it is, it's very bright and colorful, and I hope funny.
Well said. And thanks again, the person who's running the camera that people at home are watching us on. I think I'm now cool to him because I got to talk with you. So thanks for making me cool.
Well, that's awesome. I think you're cool before.
Congratulations. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Proof. You never know what's going to take off.
You never know what idea will take off.
That's like a good coffee table book.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Yeah, or like you're
the
waiting
one
at
you
the
open,
dentist.
or
Waiting at the dentist, yep,
You know, you're
yeah.
like,
wait, the book you open on the coffee table,
Yeah.
the one that's got everything on it.
That's true, right?